Hello again. This is Judy Sleed. That's me. And I have a wonderful playmate today, a lovely lady. So happy to see you.
Of course. Of course I'm.
Thank you for coming. And I didn't expect to see such a beautiful lady. Excuse me.
Well, that's very kind. My name is Ann Welker, and I am the Suffolk County Legislator for the Second District. And I'm so happy to be here with you, and also grateful to LTV for having been your partner in this show for 20 years.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. 20 years. It was a fluke.
Really?
When I first came here, I thought I was going to make movies. And I enrolled in a course, and when I was finished, he said, okay, now you could have your own show. And then I said, really? I said, yeah, okay. So what do I do? He said, just sit and invite somebody and talk to them. And like you just asked me, why did I pick the plays, the thing? Because I had to have a title, and I thought I was just going to interview actors. But people usually ask the same question all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, now we know the answer.
Yes,
And you've interviewed many more than just actors, though, right?
that is correct. I ran out of actors.
Oh dear.
Wouldn't you think that the Hamptons would be full of actors?
But you've interviewed all different sorts of people, right?
Yes, like your predecessor, Jay Schneiderman. 2 times he was my guest. Yes.
Wonderful.
And he told me many things. He plays besides politics, he plays instrument, and he even, I am Hungarian, and he's told me that he has Hungarian relatives. So I get to know the people. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known them.
Mhm.
They tell me all their secrets.
I don't think I knew that Jay was Hungarian. I didn't know that was his background,
Yeah, well, see that?
right? The little secrets that you pull
Yeah.
out of people. Well, I am wearing one of your secrets.
Oh, yes.
This beautiful scarf.
Yeah, it just so happens it is pretty.
Yes,
I never know how they're gonna come out. They all different.
but it's more than just pretty. You made it.
Yes, I made it. Yes. I learned it I went to a summer resort, and it was raining, so they showed us arts and crafts, and this was one of the things they showed us.
Well, it's lovely. I will wear it with pride. So thank you.
But this is about you. How did you get into politics?
Oh gosh. I got an email. Actually, I got an email. It said, I think you should run for Southampton Town Trustee. I think you would do a good job. I would vote for you.
Oh, really?
Delete.
Was that your mother?
No, that was not my mother. No, because being an elected official was not in my crystal ball at all. That wasn't something that I was looking to do. But the person who sent me that email also sent it to a couple other people, and then a couple of them asked me if I would consider running. And the Southampton Town Trustees are like the East Hampton Town Trustees. They're the stewards of waterways. They're the caretakers of the beaches. It's a very old role, and there had never been a woman on the Southampton Town Trustees since 1686, when the Dongan Patent established the Town Trustees, so I had to run. at least. And then I was fortunate enough to win. So I spent 6 years as a Southampton Town trustee, and I am so grateful for that time. I learned a great deal, and I'm able to now take that I've learned, that foundation with me onto the Suffolk County Legislature.
I see. Well, I'd like to know what you did before that.
So before I was a town trustee,
Yes.
I'm an exercise physiologist, and I worked in the Southampton Hospital, the Southampton Stony Brook cardiac rehab, the cardiac pulmonary rehab
Is
department.
that right? I'm gonna have to talk to you.
Oh dear. Look, I'm happy to talk to. I'm happy to
So,
talk with you about anything you wish, off camera, of course, if you
Yeah.
wish, if you wish.
So, I also would like to know where you're from.
I was born in Seattle, Washington.
Oh, you're kidding. That's pretty far from here.
It certainly is. But my parents moved here in the early 1960s because my dad was familiar with the area, because my Aunt Molly and Uncle Tony were from East Hampton. On Newtown Lane, there used to be a little shop called Tony's Sport Shop. It
Oh.
had gas pumps out in front. I don't even know what it is now. Maybe, I'm not sure. But Uncle Tony had the sport shop, and Aunt Molly was the phys ed teacher in the elementary school. So when my dad was in college, Aunt Molly was teaching, and my dad came and caddied at the Maidstone Club and taught sailing at Devon Yacht Club. So he was familiar with the area. And we were out in Seattle. He was getting his PhD, he was working on his PhD in marine ecology at the University of Washington, and Southampton College opened, and the opportunity presented itself for him to become part of the faculty there. And so we moved back from the West Coast to Southampton.
Oh, how that is very interesting. Yes. So you actually grew up around here.
I did, but I'm not considered a true local because I wasn't born in Southampton Hospital. That's
Oh.
what some tell me.
Well, I
But-
think people should overlook that.
I hope
You
they
are
do.
so talented in many areas. Yes. Yes. And is it very difficult to be to hold this position that you're holding now?
I've just completed my first 3 months. I've learned, so my first 100 days. I've learned a tremendous amount during that time, and I have more to learn. Coming from trustee, I had a good background as far as government and the environment, but coming into the county legislature, there are many more people. There are 18 county legislators, and they each represent a different district. The legislative district 2 goes from Montauk Point to Mauritius Inlet, and then there's a wavy line along the Southampton town line, so that most of Southampton town is in the district. But I'm so happy to be learning what I am, and as I said previously, it's building on what I learned as a trustee. The reason I got into all of this is I was paddleboarding one day on Mecox Bay, and I've always been super involved in or on the water. And there was a sign along the bulkhead on Mecox Bay and Watermill that said harmful algal bloom. And I kept reading down that sign. This was in, I think it was 2015 or 2016. And I kept reading, and it said in smaller letters that you had to be careful with this water because there was a harmful algal bloom. So I didn't paddleboard that day, but I started to look into it a little bit more. And a couple years prior, there had been a situation in Georgica Pond where Georgica Pond also suffers from harmful algal blooms, and a dog had drank some of the water and had passed away because of the harmful algal blooms that were in that area. I didn't know that when I read the sign, but as I started to do my research and learn, it was so important that when this opportunity presented itself to me in 2017 to run for trustee, I said yes. I didn't think I was a dark horse in that I was a woman that was running and there were gentlemen on the board, and I didn't come with a background in government at all, really. I'd been volunteering with the Surf Rider organization for years, and as I said, I've always been a recreational user of the ocean and bay and ponds in the town. But this was a whole nother step going into government. And then again, it's a big step moving on to the legislature.
So how did you solve the problem?
I
That
wish
the water was poisonous?
I wish I could say that I solved the problem. We are working on it, and we're working on it as a community.
You mean it's still dangerous?
Well, it depends. There are many things that create these harmful algal blooms. One of them is temperature. So they happen sometimes in the summer in some of our bays and ponds. But there are many people working on this, and they're working at it from many different angles. So hopefully in time, we'll be able to make some really good progress. We've made a lot of progress. Georgica Pond is so much healthier than it used to be. Mecox Bay has not had a harmful algal bloom since that one situation in, I think it was 2015 maybe. So it's getting better. We're working on addressing Lake Agawam in Southampton Village. We're working on Mill Pond in Watermill. We're working on Fort Pond in Montauk, several of those water bodies.
So you know exactly what is causing the danger in the water.
We know a great deal. We know it's temperature, we know it's excess nutrients, sometimes nitrogen or nitrates, and sometimes phosphorus. We know that it's runoff from roads, and sometimes it's irrigation as well that helps to create so much of that runoff. So there are many things. It's a complicated situation, but there are many people working on it. I just attended Dr. Christopher Gobler's State of the Bays address, which he does every year. He's done it for several years. So he's based at Southampton Stony Brook at Southampton College, where my dad taught. And his focus is marine science. And he did a presentation, as he does every year, and so many of his students are working on situations with harmful algal blooms, as is his lab. And then I also attended just the other night at East Hampton High School. There was a science research symposium, which Dr. Stephanie Talmadge Forsberg was the creator of in Hampton Bays. And she had, I think there's 60 students in that program now that range from sophomores in high school to seniors. And I think there were 12 seniors that presented the research they've been doing. And many of them were working on addressing issues in our local environment. And it just gives you so much hope to see these were 17, 18-year-olds that not only have been working on this since they were freshmen in high school, but some of them are going on to study the environment or marine science or to do research when they go to college. And they've done some really amazing things. So it gives me hope, because even though I wasn't able to wave my magic wand at this point and solve the problems, I'm helping others in my capacity as a legislator to work towards finding solutions, I think. And when we have local university students and local high school students working, that, as I said, just brings so much hope to our
Yes, the
scenario.
best way to do things is to work with young people. Yes. So as the situation exists, all you could do is put up signs to people to be careful.
Right, but I think with almost anything, education and communication and speaking about it in the community on your show helps to educate people about the difficulties with harmful algal blooms. And it's actually the Suffolk County Health Department that does some of the posting of the signs to help educate others. And I mean, it's a tricky thing because so many of our waterways are surrounded by big lawns, people who have large lawns, and the chemicals that are used on those lawns can sometimes contribute to harmful algal blooms. So creating awareness and having conversation and communication about these things, whether it's coming from me or from you or from the 16 and 17-year-olds who so enthusiastically and professionally, they were dressed in their suits and their beautiful dresses. They did a wonderful job of, again, just creating more awareness about some of these
I
topics.
can just imagine a young girl like saying to Dad, "Hey, Dad, don't put that stuff in the grass. It's not good."
That's exactly right. We learn
Yes.
so much from our everyone that's
Right,
younger, that's
right.
around us, right? It's a
So
wonderful
being
thing.
a politician, would you say it interferes with your home life?
Well, first of all, I refer to myself as an elected official, and there, maybe that's a very fine line in the sand, but I just feel that feels truer to me than to say that I'm a politician. Does it, so I'm certainly busy with it. I'm out at events or in the office quite a bit. But it's doing things that I care about for this community. So but I still try and take time for myself, for my family, so that we
And what
balance
does your
things
family
out.
consist of?
So my brother and my mom both live in this area, and my other brother and his wife live in northern Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Yes.
So, do you get to go to Florida when the weather gets cold?
I have not been down to Florida this year at all because I've been busy learning and figuring things out, but I do go sometimes, yes, for sure.
Yes, some of my friends left for a warmer climate and I miss them.
Oh, I'm sure, but hopefully they'll be coming back soon.
Yes, yes.
Now, the first time that I got to meet, well, I got to see you was when the movie was shown, I Am Judith, that was
Oh.
shown here at LTV in the fall. And you spoke afterwards. There was a little bit of a
Right.
back and forth afterwards. That was an amazing movie, and it's very brave of you now to be telling your story because it's such an important story.
Yeah, well, how come you went to see it?
Because I think we saw the sign, we saw the flyer that you were a Holocaust survivor and that a movie had been made about you and that you would be speaking afterwards. And as I said, it's such, so I'm the daughter of a history teacher. My mom is a history teacher and the granddaughter of a history teacher. My grandfather was a history teacher. So I have a special place in my heart for anything that's history. And my mom taught, when she was teaching, she taught about the Holocaust and had her classes go down to Washington and always made that an important part of her curriculum. She was here, she came and saw the film that day too.
Really?
And she spoke at the end, just not a question, but a comment. She just said that it's so good that you're telling your story now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I didn't see the audience the way the lighting was.
Oh.
They didn't put the light on the audience, so it was all dark and me hard of hearing. It was a little difficult
Oh,
to,
sure.
well, the filmmaker, Christian, she translated things, what they said.
Oh, that's good.
That was said. And of course, I knew some of the people who were talking to me, they were up front, like Jimmy Mack was one of them, and his partner, and
He's amazing. Both Jimmy and Brian are both amazing.
yes,
Well, what I remember from that day was that it was a full house. That
yes,
people were standing all the way around. So there were many people there that were there to hear
right,
your story, which
yes,
is just wonderful.
yes, it was very eventful.
Yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
I made some new friends because of that, because people came and wanted to talk to me. But there were some people who said they would come and they didn't. Like one lady wanted me to translate a recipe. She never came.
Oh, well, never say never. She may still, it was a family recipe that she had maybe
She
that
had
was,
like yes, yeah,
because you speak Hungarian, right?
very well,
Oh, you
yes.
do? Are there other people that speak Hungarian that are here in this?
No,
Oh,
no, I have no one to practice with.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, maybe you'll find someone.
Maybe,
Hopefully
yes,
you will.
yes.
Hopefully you
Well,
will.
even I have some Hungarian relatives, but we speak English. You know, it's easier.
Of course. Of course. Well, you have a fascinating history, so I hope that other people are able to either see I Am Judith. Is it available on the LTV archive? Do you know?
Well, I know there is a link to it
Ah, okay,
that
good.
I always have to ask Miss Arbisu. She's the filmmaker,
Right.
because I don't remember so well.
Well, I've been to a couple events at the Hampton Bays Elementary School recently, and their superintendent, Lars Clemenson, tries to encourage things that are living classrooms, and you are a living classroom because you have so much history just from your background. So I
Yeah.
hope that there's that link that you can share it with others, share your story with others.
Yes, I've been invited to a couple of schools out here that I spoke to. Well, we nearing the end of this beautiful moment. I am so happy that you could come and beautify that seat. Sometimes I call it the hot seat.
Oh, you didn't
Yes.
ask me too many hard questions today, thankfully. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm honored that you would
And I wish you luck with your career, and I know you're going to do a good job because you sound very sincere. Because sometimes politicians promise a lot and then they get lost on the way.
I hope that won't be me. I try.
I don't think so.
I try. I have lots of goals, but I'm working towards them slowly. So, but as I said previously, the water and our waterways are something that are deeply important to me for our community. So I definitely will be working on that. Thank you so much for having me today, Judy.
Okay, and as I said, you are not only smart and capable, but you are beautiful.
Thank you, Judy.